We are having a wonderful, wonderful time. The chant's going up, the old Lang Syne song that was reworked, the anthem of the Newcastle Knights. Let's have a listen to this, see if you can sing along with it. Crowd here. They've lined Beaumont Street, they've lined Hunter Street, and they are jam-packed every inch of King Street. Steve Crow signing some autographs. They might take another half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to get to the City Hall. Adam Muir, there are the Johns boys, Adam McDougall on the right, and it really is just absolutely fantastic. Wayne Richards, who had a stint with Illawarra, came back to join Newcastle this year. By gee, what a smart move from Wayne Richards. And he has played exceptional football this year too. Had a bit of a shoulder injury where he was out for a few weeks, but came back to play his part in history. A grand final victory at the Sydney Football Stadium, and no prouder man is Wayne Richards. As we mentioned before, 8 of the 13 starters in the grand final were locally born and bred, and that's a big thrill for the club. Set by Alan McMahon and David Waite in their informative years. David Waite, who had a stint as coach and took the Knights to their first final series, is credited with setting a magnificent development scheme in process, and I'm sure the Knights want to pass on their thanks to Alan McMahon and David Waite and all those former players such as Sam Stewart, Glennie Miller, Glenn Frendo. Who can forget the Bullet, Steve Fulmer? They have all played a part in this and deserve to have some part of these celebrations here. I know they're having a big reunion on Saturday night, and it really is absolutely fantastic. Down street side is Vanessa Spark. Vanessa, you've got Sir Paul Harrigan with you.
I don't know if I can really believe it. It's obviously a dream. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and the amount of spirit and feeling, it's hard to describe.
Did you ever expect this reception?
Of course not. I'd like to see it on telly later on, just to maybe get a different perspective of it, but from what I saw, I just can't believe it. It's a bit of a freak, I think.
Congratulations. There's Paul Harrigan, of course, the captain of the Newcastle Knights.
Well, thank you very much, Vanessa. Chief, I think, is stuck for words, and when he makes his speech here, stand by for some really emotional stuff from the big fella. He's about 6'6", runs 100 yards in even time. Troy Fletcher there, who had a magnificent game in the grand final, and he's savouring every moment too, and it really is, you just can't describe it. You need to be here. We hope we're bringing the pictures to you so you can savour the moment too. And as we mentioned, Steve Crow and Adam Muir, they're staying to sign the autographs of the youngsters and the not so young. Here the Johns boys, Matthew on the left and Andrew on the right, who did a little bit of surfing on the way to the Newcastle Workers Club on Sunday night, we believe. Did a little bit of surfing on the way to the Newcastle Workers Club on Sunday night, we believe, with the help of the Newcastle Constabulary. But everyone is enjoying the moment here, and we've got some of the players just coming up to the City Hall balcony now. We're going to be presenting them to you a little bit later on, but they just can't believe it. It is something very, very special indeed. And, well, you're stuck for words. We're going to have the Premier Bob Carr, the Lord Mayor Greg Hees and Paul Harrigan say a few words to the crowd here a little bit later on, as soon as we get all the players and the officials up here. And that should happen in about 5 minutes' time. Michael Hill, the Newcastle chairman, has just come up to the top too, and we might just grab a quick word with the chairman. He was the initial chairman, and he's back for his second stint. And Michael, I know on Sunday night at the Workers Club I said, have you ever seen anything like this? But Chief was nearly in tears downstairs. I think there'll be a few tears shed in a little bit later on.
Oh, well, nobody could ever have believed anything like this. Couldn't guesstimate the number of people. It's a Sunday night 10 times, and it's the most unbelievable tribute to a football team.
Just give you a special thrill being chairman at this very special time.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just a magic time. I mean, the credit must go to the guys who did it on the park, but they only did it because of the response from this city and this region.
Well, they're going to kick on from here. They'll celebrate long and hard.
Well, I mean, the cities of Maitland want to have a similar function. Cessnock wants to have a similar function. And then, of course, we've got a 10-year reunion on Sunday. It's going to seem like 10 years, I reckon, by then.
Michael, I just mentioned a short time ago, way back at 79, when yourself, Jerry Etzer and Lee Morn had that lunch. Did you ever think that this moment would come to fruition? Did you have that much belief in the cause?
Well, we always believed in the cause, Mike, but no one could have ever believed this. The good thing about today is, of course, that Jerry Enser and Lee Morn have joined me today, and we've all done this trip down together, which has been fantastic.
You've run up and down the cricket strip a few times. Was that one of the longest walks you've ever had?
Oh, look, it just doesn't compare with anything else that I've ever done or anything that I'll ever do in the future.
Well, you never know. You might have to do it all again next year.
Yeah, well, okay, well, we'll run that risk, Mike.
Would it nice to be next year in a unified competition, again holding up the Optus Cup?
Well, that doesn't in any way take away from this year. Yeah, next year we'll do what we've done this year and just beat whatever there is in front of us.
We'll enjoy the reunion.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. Thanks, Mike.
Well done.
Thank you.
Michael Hill, the chairman of the Newcastle Knights, joining us as we have a look at some of the players. Scott Connolly just there on screen. And it is unbelievable. Young Mark Hughes, what a fairy tale for him. He came from the Curry Club after playing in 2 Premier. He scored 2 tries in the grand final, the #1 sports ground. And now here he was last Sunday at the Sydney Football Stadium. And it really is just unbelievable stuff as we watch more of the players come to the City Hall. We've got one of the legends, one of the greats of the Newcastle Club. He's one of the originals, Tony Butterfield. He's just joined us here. We'll grab a chat with Tone. What's the feeling like?
Mate, it's indescribable. I've never experienced anything like it. The town is just enjoying themselves. The sun's out. It doesn't get any better.
Tony, you came here as one of the originals along with Mark Glanville, Paul Harrigan and Steve Crow. You all played such a big part on Sunday at the Sydney Football Stadium. Does it mean any extra benefit for you? Anything extra special?
Oh, it does, mate. I'm not astute enough to be able to explain